hopefully. Call to order, and we have a quorum.
How many more minutes on that now?
I'm sorry, they must be conferring on the agenda.
We are. You need us?
No,
No.
not at all. Second on the agenda is ratify approval of the meeting minutes. We had a closed meeting on November 16th, closed meeting on December 7th, and a closed meeting on December 11th. We have approved the meetings, the minutes for the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Done. The third step in the agenda, approval and ratify actions of the board. I'm going to read a few of these because I think it's good for you all to know what's happening. I'm not going to discuss the invoices that we approved. That's sort of boring. But I'm going to talk about a few of the items on here just so you understand what's going on here in Oyster Harbor. We ratified the approval of C.J. Crane and Sue Ellen Benson to the Communications Committee.
Yay.
There we go. All right. We ratify approval to construct the kayak rack in the back storage area.
Yay.
That was ratified. Ratify approval to move forward with the proposal from Rainstorm Solutions, the amount of $92,958 for stormwater drainage project to begin very shortly. Danny probably go into a little more detail with that. Ratify approval to use the existing parking lot located outside the current boat storage lot for boat storage expansion. Ratify approval of Gary Shope to the Facilities Planning Committee, excuse me, and ratify approval of Maggie O'Laughlin to the Grounds Committee. Next is the President's report. The board has settled into our regular meeting schedule and collaborated closely with committees through each liaison. The committee reports will reflect the many projects that have either been completed and or ongoing, including but not limited to implementation of the new website platform, sponsoring first aid, CPR, and AED classes, introducing a community watch program, numerous social functions, and general upkeep of our neighborhood. There has been behind the scenes board projects going on over the holidays, including updating of policies and community reminders to ensure they are in line with our governing documents. That's ongoing, and we're getting into the weeds on that. Selecting a vendor for the drainage project. The work began in December. Well, selecting the vendor began in December. Okay. We look forward to ideas, comments, questions, and concerns with the caveat that some may take some time for a response. Thank you. Got the treasury report?
I do. Did everybody here get a copy of the treasurer's report? You did? Well, and and I'll give you a copy of this that's going to come up later on in the meeting. Make sure everybody's got it. Okay, and his copy of the agenda too. Sorry about that. Okay. So the treasury report I'll be talking about this evening is the one for November. Our last open association meeting was in October. We got the financials for November. They are posted to our website for everybody to take a look along with this treasurer's report. We won't get the financials completed for December and the closeout of the year until 30 days past the 31 December. So the first part of February, I'll be
What are you saying?
I'll be doing a treasurer's report, and I'll be reporting and putting it on the website sometime in February once I get all the information from you all tomorrow. So this is the report for November. Balance sheet, treasurer's report, roughly just running down the numbers very quickly. I'm not going to cover all of them. They're in front of you. The total assets, which are the operating cash and ARC totals, are $349,194.91. Our total reserve assets are $1.252,462,000,000, and 38 cents. The listings below that you see there are numbers that are actually going to, the transactions that will occur in December was part of the last parts of the financial. There'll be shifting of monies at that time and will actually be monies going into our reserve, so that's gonna get better. On the operating expense numbers, just running down, I'll go ahead and go down straight to the bottom of the total operating expenses. For November, we had total operating expenses of $52,080.95. And the total year-to-date remaining is going to be $39,987. The financials that you see will be posted. There'll be a 7-page, 9-page, something like that, breakout on the website, which are the summary sheets that captures all the details of this in the breakout. So it makes a whole lot more sense to me just than this one single sheet. This is just a summary of what those numbers are. And flipping it over to the second page or the back part for there, this is a breakout of the 2023 reserve expenses as of November 30.
No point watching this since I can't hear a word he's saying.
Costs and things, our total reserve expenses thus far, at the end of November was $29,497. And the delinquencies below that, we have a total delinquency listed at $22,033.31. And the liens filed today are for $22,033. We have no properties in foreclosure as of that date, end of November.
And I hope you guys, and I'm gonna add to that, because
Sure.
Larry's doing a great job with this and getting it together, just so you folks know. We were at a lot of money a few years ago. As of the reporting of January, we're under $11,000 in delinquencies now, where we were at one time, $167,000. So we've been working hard for you, I promise.
So roughly now, we're down to 4 delinquent.
And that's it.
properties. And of those, it's obviously, it's a year or 2. It's not, 8, 9 years
Yeah.
down the road.
And we are paying close attention to that.
And I'm not giving him any money, no matter how much he says he wants something for all his committees and things, just for saying good things about me. And then he gets no money.
We're in your corner.
And
Not with the money.
Thanks, Larry.
And just for your information, we get our donation to the reserve account that we have in the budget in January. It'll be a January, February deposit from Waccamaw. And this year we'll get $326,736 in one lump sum from Waccamaw within the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. So that's going to make us look really
A lot better.
nice, very, very good.
Thanks, Dan.
Sure.
Thanks, Mike. Any
Yeah.
questions? Okay.
Okay, we go to committee reports. ABC POA, that'll be me.
That was you.
Continue monitoring HB 542 that would restrict the ability of the HOAs to collect delinquent assessments. That's huge. They're trying to diminish the ability for us to get past dues from delinquent property owners. And that's statewide. It's not necessarily, it's not for us. I mean, I don't think we have any objections in Oyster Harbor. But there, I guess, have been some abuses, and now Raleigh's inside of this thing and trying to mess things up. Monitoring development approvals by the Planning Commission. By the way, the ABC POA, in case you all don't understand that, it is an organization within Brunswick County that has all the gated communities together in one committee, and it's ABC POA. We have about 26 developments within Brunswick County, part of ABC. And we meet once a month, typically at BEMC. And they're really concerned about what's going on in Raleigh, situations of the roads and traffic, all the building going on right now, and how we're gonna get around once the building gets started. So they're at 30,000 feet looking down on Brunswick County and looking at the big picture and seeing what's really concerning to Brunswick County in developments like this. And that's what the ABC POA is. Judy is the representative on that committee from Oyster Harbor, and I'm the alternate. Activities, projects completed since last report to the board. This is again, ABC POA. The election of officers, modifications to bylaws, yearly member dues remain at $125. We pay $125 a year to be part of that committee, of that board, that membership. Activities, projects planned to start within the next 6 months. Attorney presentation regarding the Corporate Transparency Act and how it applies to HOAs. This law was designed to protect against money laundering. We're meeting on, I didn't, 24th at, I want to say 10 a.m. With Garrett, with Bowden, the attorney from Wilmington. And he's going to do a discussion about on this topic right here, and all the ABC POA members are encouraged to attend. Activities, projects planned to start within the next 6 months. I already said that. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Budget issues, current operating budget issues, none. Reserve budget issues, none. And that's the ABC POA. Let's see, the ARC.
All right, so bear with me. You're gonna have to deal with me 3 times. Les is under the weather. He apologized for not being here. He called me and asked me if I would present. He said, you do not want him here. So he apologized for not doing it. I also have Mike Weddle with Grounds has got flu, and Bruce Baker, he just left me and went to Florida. So,
He was
So-
a smart one.
so bear with me. The Oyster Harbor Arc summary. Presently, we have 29 homes under various stages of construction. Recent submission of the new build was lot 454. Completed 3 final inspections within the last 45 days. 1 approved, 2 declined. Homes under construction coupled with occupied homes totals 177. That's really important to this neighborhood. Exciting, actually. Represents 37.6% of our communities in capacity. Since October, the ARC has conducted several pre-construction lot walks with builders. Additionally, the Oyster Harbor ARC has received numerous requests for home improvements, such as, but not limited to, generator installations, backyard fencing, requests to remove dead diseased trees, exterior house painting, and several roof replacements and repairs. Additional comments. Waccamaw, under the direction of the ARC, has issued several warning letters to builders for violations of ARC guidelines, including stop work orders, and when needed, imposed monetary fines for stated violations. There was a chart that was included on this. It's just showing that we have, at this point in time, the building process, as you said, we're up to 177. We have 148 completed residents, and there's still 291 sites in Oyster Harbor to build on. Okay. Boats and docks, that's me too. Les Bruce Hart, he's sitting there, tells me he has no internet connection. I hope he's on here. He's in Florida. He really made me feel bad for him, you know? So boats and docks. Current ongoing activities and projects and status. We developed a plan to expand the boat storage area and submit it to the board of directors. I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit. We had, originally we had 10. That's coming. You understood that too, right? Yeah. We did good, even though I pointed it out. Dan's handed me an outline of what that's going to look like. What we're doing, and I just want you to understand what's going on with that. We had 10 people on the waiting list. We currently have 5. I'll say that in just a second. But we have found a fairly inexpensive way to accommodate new residents and new amenities. We're going to expand it into parking that we currently don't use. It will not be fenced or gated. So, but everything, understanding, is at risk anyway. We're not responsible for anything that's inside the fence or outside the fence. but we're gonna be able to accommodate with this expansion 26 new spots, which is phenomenal for us. And with minimal cost. Boats and Docks has done a great job of going out and looking at options. And we have plans beyond that. But I know everyone's not boat owners, but this is a waterfront community. So it's important that we accommodate everything we can to the best of our ability. I hope you guys will be excited about that because I'm pretty proud of the guys for what they've done. They did some out of the box thinking and it's gonna work out really well.
I would just caveat that as RV owners out there, those, it's,
Yeah, I'm
the
sorry.
RVs, boats, and, just
And
back-
trailers.
Trailers.
and things, so.
So it's not just limited to boats. So just understanding that, and it's been a huge plus for the neighborhood right now in our association and community.
What is the current capacity for this 24 hours?
58.
Number 15, and then what is that capacity up to now? So
We were at 57, correct?
I think
Larry?
57, there's a couple of half spaces. but
And
yeah,
so now
57
we're
and a half,
actually
58.
increasing it by 50%.
And since the spots, it's not a rectangular lot storage area, we've got small ones and large ones, et cetera, but it's 57. So you're there.
57 to 80.
Correct.
So, and I would tell you, if you see one of your committee members on Boats and Docks, slap them on the back, and tell them thank you, because they've done a great job. They really have. There's still some work for them to do yet, so don't slap them too hard.
And if I may, I mean, it also looks like there's a bunch of junk sitting in there, taking up spots.
Junk?
That's Danny Bowden.
We have,
Yeah, help me talking about my boat.
we have a forum afterwards, after the board meeting, so we, any comments y'all have,
We'll
y'all please hold that.
definitely address it for sure. I can answer that question. Okay, so moving on, repair end of floating dock and repaint the boat cleats. Receive quotes to replace rails along the boat ramp are in and presented to the board of directors. 5 boats. There are only 5 waiting on the list for now for boat storage from 10. Continue to monitor the boat storage lot usage. Continue to monitor the status of the boat ramp usage. Activities, projects completed since last report to the board. The finger docks have been replaced and repaired. Guardrails for the ramp have been cleaned for moisture shells. We've placed gravel in the gate area for the boat storage where there was a hole and depression. Activities, projects planned to start within the next 6 months. Finish the expand boat storage area and process, power wash the concrete portion of the boat ramp, replace rails along the boat ramp, move possibly to 2025. If I can answer that later if I need to. Budget issues, current budget operating issues, none. Reserve budget issues, funding for the boat storage expansion. Committee purpose membership changes, none. Okay.
Next up is the clubhouse renovation. I don't think Carl is here, so I'll read for her. Current ongoing activities, projects, status. A flyer has been drafted to announce the sale of unwanted clubhouse furniture and items. If approved, it will be sent to the membership. The committee is scheduled to meet next week to resume work. Budget issues not known at this time. Let's see, now.
Mr. Communications.
Good evening.
With some metrics, and I'm gonna quote some numbers from all of last year, calendar 2023, and this January. Last year, we did 93 updates to the website. So far this year, a single one. Last year, we added 61 new users, which is reflective of the ARC report, I believe. And so far, we've added two people to the website. Last year, we sent 166 MailChimp messages out. And 2 months ago, I remember saying that's too many. So we're working on that. The new website, which I'll talk about momentarily, is going to address that. So far, we have sent 4 MailChimp messages. So far last year, we did 3 issues of the Oyster Pearl. We haven't done one yet. One's coming out this month. And last year we held 8 Zoom meetings, and of course, this one so far this year. Activities and projects, the big piece of news for Communications Committee and the big focus of our effort is converting from our outdated website to a new HOA specific software package, which includes a website. This is called HOA Start. We'll be doing demos as soon as there's something worth demoing to you all, so you can see the progress as we're going. But we're very excited that this new system will solve lots of our problems. So activities completed since last report, we did begin implementation of HOA Start. We've already held our first 2 team meetings to divvy up the workload, which is considerable. Tasks are going to include determining the overall site features, determine which documents need to be brought from the old website. We've got documents that go back to the beginning of time for Oyster Harbor. Devise a folder structure for documents and other types of media. Plan a new menu structure and overall interface so that you can find things easily. You don't have to look in 3 or 4 different places to find a document. We're going to create new forms, new graphics, load a clean list of user data for members and households, and assign permissions, because a key feature of this website is rather than having confusing sets of menus for members and non-members, the menus will all be the same. Your access to those items will be limited by your membership. As committee chairs, those of you who are committee chairs will also have access to parts of the website that don't have access to today. So that's the work in front of us. We're estimating probably another few months of work before we start rolling this out. So activities planned within the next 6 months, continue to hold meetings and move ahead, both with our team and our liaison, Larry. One thing, budget permitting, aside from HOA Start, is to look at replacing the paper-based signboard out front with an electronic sign. And as I said, that would be budget permitting. We're also exploring the use of moderated member-only Facebook group. In terms of budget issues, there are none. And as we previously mentioned, we welcome Sue Ellen Benson and BJ Crane to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bert.
Thanks, Bert. Facilities planning.
Hello, everyone. Well, this has become a busy part of the season for the facility planning committee. We are currently updating our reserve listing for 2024 for presentation to the board and related committees. We do need the year-end reserve number to finalize it, but based on November's reserve listing, we went from a funding level of 32% last year to 36.3% this year so far. So, after the reserve listing is updated and reviewed, then we prepare our listing of the proposed reserve expenditures for the year. And right now I have 10 items on it, soon to be 11, because of both storage expansion. But
Yeah.
Little.
yeah, it's little.
Little.
We like little. We like little.
There is a line item in the reserve too.
Oh, yes. Sure.
We have the funding there.
But I have to adjust the remaining useful life.
You're gonna like us.
Yeah, okay, all right. I trust you, Danny. One other thing that we're doing currently is there's been discussion about our role in the community, and we in the past have provided not only information about reserving and funding and so forth, but we've also provided some financial assistance as well. So currently, we're rewriting our mission statement to include some of the financial aspects of what we do as a committee, and this will soon to be called the Financial Planning Committee, as opposed to the Facilities Planning Committee. Activities projects to start within the next 6 months. We started this last year, but we're going full bore right about now. We're looking at related laws and covenants and bylaws and so forth. But we're exploring alternate sources of revenue to improve our overall reserve funding level. This is going to get a little tricky, and we're going to have to think outside the box on this one. But we have a really good committee. And as a matter of fact, we just had Gary show up to our committee as well. So we welcome Gary. I believe he's going to provide a significant amount of input to it. That's all I have.
Well,
All right, this is it. Last time for me. Mike's under the weather with flu. He wishes everyone well and hopes he gets better. So activities and project status, activities projects completed since the last board. We have started our new maintenance contract with Carolina Creations. All is well with that. Everything's going as expected. There are weekly communications with the superintendent who is assigned for our neighborhood and the Oyster Harbor Group, which Mike and his team are absolutely meeting either physically or by phone every week to review everything that's happening within the neighborhood. We are going through normal maintenance. Activities projects planned to start within the next 6 months is to finish the bushes at the entrance, cut the grass in the boat storage area, and trim the palms. All of the palms, there's 48 within the circle of the clubhouse, and all of that is scheduled with their normal maintenance under our contract for February. No budget issues at this time and no additions to the committee.
Next is the Member Orientation Committee.
Oh. All right, Mary Ann Iden's under the weather, so Llewellyn here to cover for her. New member welcome and orientation committee. Our current ongoing activities and projects to start planning for our next event, which will be sometime in April, this April. Activities and projects completed since last report to the board. We had a new member welcome and orientation committee event on Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. 34 invitations were sent out with 13 RSVP yes and 5 attended, mostly due to flu and COVID the week of the event. So a number of folks missed. They're welcome to attend our April event. Updated documents for the event and our website to reflect new VOD and committee chairs. Activities and projects planned to start within the next 6 months. We're gonna review our 2023 event and begin planning, like I said, for the April event, but there's not a date yet for the April event. That's coming soon. Budget issues, none, and changes to the committee membership, none.
Thank you. Ponds and Fountains Committee.
Good afternoon. My name's Bill Justice, chairperson for the Ponds and Fountains Committee. As of our last meeting on October the 18th, we had quite a busy quarter for the ponds and fountains. And I would say it's a pretty successful quarter as well. The regular activities that we generally do, we see a fountain or a pond that has a pump issue or one of the light issues or that type of thing. We monitor those, we turn those on and off. We had minimal of that this past quarter, but there were a couple of incidents where a fountain was low in the pond, and or one of the lights went off, reset the breakers, that type of thing. One of the main issues that we do twice a year is to reset all the times on the fountains and the lights to come on and off based on an hour difference for daylight savings time. We accomplished that on November the 5th. Now, our successes that we had during that period of the last quarter was a series of projects that involved probably 3 to 5 of our lakes. We received a proposal, sent it to the board for its approval, as Dan mentioned earlier in the initial rundown, that particular approval was received, and then got the lake company, which is our contracting company for our lakes, to do the projects for us. On Eagle Lake, that was a lake that is basically doesn't have a lining. The only source of water for that lake is rain and any runoff from the surrounding area. And the lake is very shallow at the beginning. It was probably 3 to 4 feet deep. So what we did was we dredged out a 10-foot diameter area underneath the fountain to the depth of about 6 to 7 feet. We used the dredging device that our lake company had, which basically is just like a big vacuum cleaner. It took all the sand and stuff out of there and sucked it out. The fountain now sitting in an area in the middle of the lake that is about 8 feet deep. So I would say that fountain can run now throughout the year without having to be discontinued. We were discontinuing it probably anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, waiting for the levels to come up in the lake. Cardinal Lake, we had a couple of issues there. We had 2 fountains in that lake. One of the fountains had old halogen-based lights on it. We took those lights out, put in the new LED lights, received several accolades from some of the people surrounding Cardinal Lake, indicating they were very pleased to see the LED lights on that fountain. The other thing on Cardinal Lake that we accomplished was we had a timer device for the fountain that was pretty primitive. It was analog, push in the buttons with like your Christmas tree lights. You push in the button, you want to come on, pull them out. So we put in a couple digital timers there, so we can get that timer and those lights to come on very accurately now, as in conjunction with the other fountain in that lake. We had a bad structure holding up the control panels, the pedestal for the control panels over Palmetto Lake. And we were able to have those replaced during this project. And lastly, at Cardinal Lake, we control a couple of the lake pumps. All the lake pumps except Mallard Lake are now on manual control. Mallard Lake has successfully been operating for years on an automatic level control, but the other 2 lakes, Ibis and Cardinal, we had issues with the level controller, so we went to a manual control. We did put the switch in on Cardinal Lake, so now we just flip the switch when the lake is high and turn a switch off when the lake is or start to restart the pump. The previous procedure for that was using a breaker, and we are now no longer having to do that. Okay, so that was we don't have any current issues that we're working on currently, and we don't have any other reserve budget issues or projects that we're working on at this time. If the weather goes into a dry situation again, there are probably 1 or 2 more lakes that we could conceivably do that dredging underneath the fountain to make them deeper and run those fountains continuously without having to worry about damaging the fountain by bottoming out on a low water level.
Heron, fountain was done
was
with,
trenched out about 5 or 6, 7 years ago. So that one is still working. We still have the trench underneath that fountain, so I think it's still pretty good.
As far as I know, that's correct. We turned that fountain off once because it was cycling. But we discovered it was algae or filamentous algae. It's a grass-like weed that grows in the lakes. If that gets around the shaft of the pump of the fountain, then that causes the fountain to look like it's pulsing. So we had to shut that off, get the lake company out there to clean that out. We also had that same situation over at Palmetto. So if we do get in a situation where we have to dredge out, they had the apparatus to do that with now.
Yeah.
And it was very successful when we implemented that. Okay,
with the bill.
so happy that the lakes are all working. And since I'm up here, the next committee that I'm on is the Safety and Preparedness Committee, and in Bob Wilson and Leanna Winslow's absence, I agreed to read their chairperson's report. And I want to start off by talking about, I think it's mentioned earlier about the classes that we conducted here on 2 separate occasions. One, I had the fortune to attending was the CPR AED class. And we had a guy come in from the Tri-Beach Rescue. He was very knowledgeable about that. He had all the proper mannequins and all the proper equipment to go through about a 4 to 5 hour CPR class. And that was very successful. Later on, we did conduct another class in first aid. I didn't attend that class, but I understand it was a success. And they did some AED and CPR training in that class as well. These classes, even though we had those 2 classes, these classes are meant to more or less be ongoing. We want to be able to meet whatever the community needs in terms of people's interest in learning that. The first CPR class, I think we had probably 8 people there. Brian was there, Danny was there. So Larry was over there. So we need to get more people involved in that. So if anybody can group up half a dozen, 10 people, we'll be happy to schedule that class at any time. They're readily available. All we have to do is get the attendance to have those classes. One of the other things that we also worked on, for $10, you can buy yourself a reflective house number sign and put that out on the street so that in the event of, say, power outage or some emergency where the ambulance or a fire truck is screaming down the road, they can see those signs more readily than they can the sign on the mailbox. So we want to try to offer that to everybody that would be interested in that. And as I said, you get that through the Tri-Beach Rescue, and we have the forms for that, the Safety and Preparedness Committee, and you can get that through them directly or through us on the committee. So, the next item that I wanted to try to finish with here was our community watch program. We are starting a new program within Oyster Harbor, which is our community watch. And this is a very, I think, important program for everyone to consider becoming a part of. This community is changing both internally and externally in terms of the volume and just the population that growth that we're experiencing. We pretty safe inside the gate. We only are separated by the berm from outside the community. And we need to be more aware, I think, of what is going on through here. I don't know if anybody's lived in a community in the past where you had a community watch. I know Dan had, I personally have not. I think it's going to be very important for us not only now to be aware of our safety and surroundings, but more so in the future. Now, the community watch, one of the key parts of that program is our direct relationship with our local law enforcement, which is the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office. The Brunswick County Sheriff's Office has a direct unit called the Impact Unit, which is responsible or chartered to help communities, began community watch and communicate with these communities about the issues that they may see in their community. And this is not meant to be, monitoring people for doing minor infractions or this or that. We want to be able to help them identify and prevent criminal activity within the community. So far, we've had 5 people, myself included, join the community watch as zone captains. Our current community watch members include the zone captains and the safety and preparedness committee. We want to try to get as many people in the community to become members, who become a member of the community watch. The zone captains we have so far, 4 of them are here today. We got Dave Soretto, Bert Wiener, Dan Evans, myself, and Bill Letter is the other zone captain. We need probably 1 or 2 more zone captains, and then tons of members for the community watch. The Impact Unit will be here for a town hall presentation on the 25th of January at 7 o'clock. I encourage everybody to come to that particular presentation, and then we will begin signing up members for the community watch. We'll put some signs out on the front gate, out on the back gate, out in the water park. And this will tell people that this community is protected by the community watch, and we will call the police and report incidents. That alone is a deterrent, believe me. I mean, I think if people think they're being observed, they will definitely think twice about what they would do inside the community if they come through the gate or the berm or the fence. That's it for the safety and preparedness.
I'm just going to add a comment too. On those CPR, first aid, AED type training scenarios, they are free. They're great courses and very informative. You don't get a card. That's the unfortunate part for going through the training. That's one of the reasons that they are free, because you don't have to all the paperwork to go back. They're not associated with the American Heart Association, which Red Cross, they charge something like $1,800 to put on a course. So we get these for free, and I've been through the training with both of them. They're excellent. And
They are excellent.
I can't recommend them enough.
Could I add one thing for you to bring out, the traffic calming planning? If you would just address that, and just know that is absolutely still alive and well.
I will definitely do that. And one other thing too, from the report, and Danny's right, some of the issues that we've been facing in the community are the non-adherence to our stop signs and our speed limits. This has been an ongoing problem for a long time. The committee is actively looking again at, they're called traffic calming devices or methods. That's one of the buzzwords out there that's across the country. It ranges from everything from speed humps to signage to paints and all these other things. So when we stood up this committee a year ago, that was one of their primary taskers on the safety side, was to look at those types of things happening in our community. And as with the growth that we're happening now, more vehicles and stuff, it's getting to be as bad in here as it is on Boozneck. That has not been lost. We had a slight deviation because of some issues in exploring what we could and could not do with speed deterrent devices and things, because those have to be approved and routed through the county and the state for speed humps and those things. But just come full circle on this because we're going through this paving project that Danny and others are gonna talk about here in a few minutes. We're trying to sync these things up, and that would be part of that effort, because there's no point doing anything out there and tearing up all these things when we're gonna be repaving some of the sections. So these things are working hand in glove with, some more to follow on the traffic calming analysis.
Concerning neighborhood watch, there was a incursion or suspicious activity done on a house that was being built about 3 or 4 weeks ago, late at night. Unauthorized person with lights going through the house that was going up, and police were called. He was scared off by the neighbor that saw him. Police came and nothing was done, but there's still things out here in the community that need to be tended to. We need to look out for our neighbors and for each other in the community, and neighborhood watch would be a nice way to do that for the community.
Thanks, Dan. That's exactly right. And again, the observation that happened, again, with, late at night or after hours, even after midnight in one particular case, just turning on your outside lights, not seeing any kind of activity, letting someone know that you're observing these things, sort of resolve that particular issue and stuff. We've had a couple of these incursions. There actually have been a couple of thefts in the community, especially at new job sites. Makes sense, right? You get delivery of your appliances and those things you're going to be putting in your house. All of a sudden, there's nobody there working after hours, especially way late at hours, and those things just start disappearing. If I can't emphasize enough the old saying from DHS, if you see something, say something as it relates to terrorist activities, just see something, say something, and do something, which is something, nothing more. We've already talked to the sheriff's office multiple times on this. They said, call us. If it's suspicious and you're not sure, call us. If it's something that you're not sure of, that's where this community watch program, we'll be going through training sessions and building roles and responsibilities to further expound on that. But we're going to try to set up some sort of an internal process where people feel better about contacting the sheriff's office or the community watch program to say, I just don't feel right about that. That don't look good, but maybe it don't rise to it. 911, that's okay. We want to start fixing that. But if you're in doubt, call the sheriff's office. That's what they tell us every time we meet with them.
Yes, Leanne?
Got a question from the chat. They paid for the reflector for the mailbox, but haven't received it. Is there somebody who's supposed to pick it up?
Get their name and a phone number or contact information, and we'll get with Bob and research them.
Bob may have it. He had several of them the last time at our last meeting, so he may have it.
And a lot of things going on with them this week, so maybe a simple oversight. We can track that down. And those signs are pretty nice. I put one on my mailbox. I just want that ambulance to be able to find me if it's after hours. You know? Not that I'm volunteering.
You did.
It's been in my house already.
They know you personally.
Yeah.
Social committee, anyone here? Oh, excellent.
Thank you.
So our current and ongoing activities, our committee continues to meet on the second Tuesday of every month. Next event is Let's Dance. It's a line dancing instruction and fun on Friday, the 2nd of February at 6:30 here at the clubhouse, led by Brittany. DJ Kelvin Andrews will be on hand as well. Super Bowl party and game night, the 11th of February at 5:30 here at the clubhouse. Deli sandwiches and chili will be provided. The 2024 social committee event calendar is attached, so that's on the website and it's in the hallway here on the bulletin board. So activities completed since our last report. The Halloween party was well attended. It was a fun event, live music provided by Baxter and Lancome. Costume winners were Best Costumes, Kevin Kreisky. Best couple costume was Bill and Barb Puglisi. Most scary was Donna Evans. Most creative, Judy George. And most funny was Mike Schiavone. Of course.
Our Wish Upon a Star project this year resulted in help for 3 families, 119 wrapped presents and gift cards for each family for a holiday dinner. Many thanks to Patty Christopherson for leading this and also to her helpers, Kathy Kellerman and Jenny Hall. The committee greatly appreciates the support of the community with this project. It's very successful. December Bunko, with the help from the community, was able to deliver nearly 500 pounds of goods and supplies, plus $500 in cash to Brunswick Family Assistance. Additionally, Brunswick County Animal Shelter received pet food supplies and $150 in cash. The Harvest Soup and Trivia Night, 46 people were in attendance with delicious soups. 38 signed up for trivia, led by Beth Baker. Prizes were awarded to the winners. The annual community holiday decorating lunch was provided and co-hosted by Structures Committees and Grounds Committee. The community craft fair, Saturday, December the 9th, was held. Holiday party cookie exchange, followed by the golf cart parade, Saturday on the 16th of December. New members added 8 new ornaments to the tree. Those who participated in the cookie exchange took home dozens of cookies, thanks to Bert for assuming the role of Grandmaster of the parade. The New Year's Eve party, December 31st, music was provided by DJ Kelvin Andrews, again, of Veterans Vocal Vibe. Celebrants deemed the party very fun and festive. So the activities and projects planned to start within the next 6 months are Friday, March the 15th at 6:30, Captain John's Seafood Truck and Dinner and Trivia Night. Friday, April the 19th at 6, the charcuterie sampling and wine tasting. If y'all remember that last year was a ton of fun. So April date to be determined, a wiffle ball tournament, which is a ton of fun. Everybody loves that. Sunday, May 5th at 6, the Cinco de Mayo party. Sunday, June 15th at 1, a pool party and ice cream social for kids and adults, not yet confirmed. Refer to the event calendar for more dates and details. We don't have any budget issues. Our cash on hand is $246.22. Year-end budget report not yet available. Committee purpose, membership changes or not.
Thank you. Thank you. Structures.
I would never do your
The best for structures separated from grounds, now it's 2 separate committees. And pretty much on an ongoing basis, anything that goes wrong in your house, we take care of on the facility. During the course during the course of the year, we worked with the board and we got the metal hose come out in the clubhouse, have a lot of lighting on it. We have to get cleaned off. So we've made, we secured some bids, made some recommendations to the board on a regular basis. Structures go around on the street lights, look for what's out, what's not, and report it to BEMC for repair. They did a road shoulder survey where the asphalt is kind of breaking away on the edge and shared it with the board, and hopefully that will be shared with the rainstorm when they're doing their swale and it's time to clean out. We went around with the board with the vendor to get the quotes for that. And I guess we'll talk about that later on. We had to reinstall one of the letters on the front wall when we did the decorations because it just fell. We got rid of all the, we determined that it's cheaper to buy new pool furniture than to repair what we had, so the old stuff was thrown They're dividing it between the pickleball courts had been sprung. The stop sign on Oyster Harbor Parkway that kind of.
Yes, this is for 1,000 feet.
Great court that was, that was replaced. We have one more left. And we worked with the social committee to take up, put up and take down Christmas decorations. Now, for the upcoming 6 months, there's a number of items, most of which we can handle in-house for like minimal cost, except for the first one. The outdoor shower and the toilets in the pool area, they don't drain well. And we're gonna add rainstorm to see if they can grow the root of those. Members on the Truckers Committee have volunteered to power wash the Russell Hewitt gazebo. Our neighbor next door has allowed us to use their water. The wood entrance out here that was power washed, and we need to seal it. But 20 square feet. The conduit running down to the light up the water park, or the dock level, it's kind of hanging down and have the clamps put it on. We've got a quote to replace the pool pump room door that's all rotten. We're talking about adding shelving in the gatehouse, so we have more storage there. And we had mentioned something that we're going to get some numbers and present it to the board. The back of the pool building, the pool house building has overhangs. To temporarily close those for the winter to put the pool furniture. Summer comes, take the enclosure down, and it'd be just like it is now. There are cracks on the pickleball courts that have been there for a number of years. That'll be a seasonal thing. When it warms up, we'll look to seal those cracks to prevent any further damage. And we have the approval, as mentioned before, for a kayak storage ramp that'll be done in-house by structure. We have a budget issue. We have no membership changes. We would like to get facilities management to be our name so we can move up on the road. Yes. No, if it's available now, it's a certain financial plan, it can be done.
Good luck. We'll talk about that in closed session.
Okay.
This is Brian's group, but I'm gonna say something. Also, Patrick Structures guys on the back as well. They are doing a phenomenal job for this community. Doing a lot of work in-house, saving the homeowners a lot of money.
Finished with the committee reports. We now go to unfinished business. Update on stormwater drainage project. Danny.
Hopefully you have seen activity in the neighborhood. You saw the completion of the contract. They actually started the project and process before Christmas, and you'll see more. It will be really exciting in the next couple of weeks. We are hoping this will be planned out and finished, completed work by March. That is the goal, but right now we are really excited this is going to be done. And I want to reiterate to everyone in the community and anyone listening, this will put our storm drainage structures back to an almost view condition, where we have every problem area that could be a slightest concern down the road to the back. We should be back 20 years ahead of where we were. So very good news for the community, I felt.
The board and past board never has addressed the drainage issue of Oyster Harbor. Not that we've had it, not that it's been bad problems, but we've never, over the last 23 years, have ever addressed the storm drainage that we're addressing now. So, like Danny says, it'll be back to new like it was in 2003.
So what exactly are they gonna do then, and then how is that?
We have a forum, period after the board meeting, and then you can ask your questions.
Be
then. So,
glad to answer it for you.
review of Oyster Harbor policies update and parking.
I'd like to, okay, I'll just go ahead. So I've got the topic of the Oyster Harbor parking policy that you all have a handout on. It should be seen on Zoom. It's under new business, so I'm gonna scoot that item down there since it's part and parcel with the review of our current policy. So I'll talk about that in just a minute.
Okay. We have community watch, which we've already talked about. I don't think we need to go any more detail than that, Bill. I think you did a fine job with that. That was under unfinished business, and also HOA start status. Bert, you addressed that, so thank you for that. Right, that was under unfinished business. Under new business, we have Oyster Harbor parking policy.
There we go. So I'm just trying to keep these things lined up. So all of you should have handouts. So if not, there's one up here, and then on Zoom, they're available. Just to go over, I'll touch on the policy itself, and I'll make some remarks about the policy and how we arrived at this as soon as I get through. But as of 1 October, this policy has been posted to our website under the policies tab. And the notice to the community is not new. It's been in existence forever, it seems, but we're formally making this a policy document. As I said, I'll comment on that. Where there is parking of vehicles in the right of ways, the common elements, every road has a right of way adjacent to it, and most of them have a swale in many areas. That particular area or common areas, you'll hear me reference later, I use them interchangeably. So if I say right of way, one time I say swale, another, I'm actually meaning all of that, just so you know. But there is no parking in the right of way / swale area. This is, again, it's per the CCR. It is referenced and where that can be found verbatim. It also talks about other areas in the common areas. These are the common areas that the association owns. The water park is an example. The parking areas out here. So the common areas, it designates where you can and cannot park. No parking on the grassy or mulched areas makes sense. Again, this is not new. It's from the CCNR. It's already somewhere in a rule somewhere. All we're doing is consolidating them into this policy document. It goes into some description of disabled vehicles, tags, and things like that. Again, this is found in the CCNR and our bylaw, well, the CCNR predominantly, and they're listed here. And the reason for this is that we have to have some place with them referenced to be able to start enforcing these things. That way, it's very clear to everyone in the community what our policy on this is. And the descriptor at the bottom of this that talks about the water park and numbered decals and those things, be it for vehicles or golf carts and those things too. Again, everything that's listed here is part of our formal policy document. We did this because we want to institutionalize this and clear up any kind of misconceptions and differing opinions and stuff that have been around forever. Now, having said that, you get to listen to me for a few minutes because I want to give you a little bit of background on this. So bear with me, guys. So one of the questions that sometimes we've been asked over a period of time is, why do we need a policy for parking? Well, honestly, because this is the community's assets. These properties are. We need to protect them. We need to preserve them. And for one of the very reasons that we just talked about, which is the stormwater runoff system. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to drive down our streets out here and see the condition of our right-of-ways and our swales in many areas, whereas just a few years ago, for those of you who've been here as long as I have, or maybe predate me, when they were pristine, they were attractive, they looked good, and they did their primary function, which is to help the community eliminate the significant amounts of water from storms and to get the water out of our community so we don't have flooding. Over a period of time, we've lost a lot of that capability. And I'm going to talk about just a few of the things that kind of contributed to that. But we absolutely must start taking care of our right-of-ways and our swales and start enforcing issues with that. Otherwise, we're going to be right back where we started from and spending another $92,000 before we know it to clean out this system. So why now? That very reason I just described. They used to be pristine, attractive, they were functional. We've lost that, and for several reasons. And some of those reasons are you heard about it, we've got about 29 homes under construction, 26, 29 homes under active construction recently. Now, that's what we need here. We need growth, we need construction, we need new people coming in and buying these houses. That's part of the process. county inspector told me construction means destruction. That is true. However, it can be mitigated to where that's not necessarily done in a haphazard way, and you can mitigate those things. And where there is construction and destruction, we need to minimize that if at all possible and try to conserve as much as possible. And once done with that, we need to repair it, put it back into a repaired state. And this policy is going to help us do it because this is where we start from today. Going forward, we'll be able to work with the different committees such as the Architectural Review Committee and the Grounds Committee and others to start a process and plan and building plans and things to start restoring these areas that have been damaged before. So some reasons that just have come to mind, obviously, are the constructions. We've got a lot of people in here with construction crews. We've got a lot of equipment. We've got a lot of delivery of materials and stuff. That happens, and that's going to happen, and it should happen to get that home site up and building. But working with the committees such as the Architectural Review Committee, we as an association need to look at what is being done. And once that is done, if it can't be mitigated or mitigated to the point to where we're trying to hold the damage to a minimum, then we need to make sure that those areas that are restored after we're done to the extent possible. We've got weather patterns that we've never seen before. In the last couple of years or so, it's been extremely hot with minimal raining during the summer. And so we've not had these storms, things that are really predate the last couple of years that I can recall. So we've got problems with our vegetation. The grasses are impacted by this. Maybe it's the type of vegetation. We've talked a little bit about that with our grounds folks. So we need to look at what the vegetation is, where it is, where it's sparse or where it's non-existent, and where erosion is beginning to occur. We really need to start to address these problems. Again, working with our committees, be it ARC and be it grounds and others, to start to restore these as much as possible. Again, aesthetically is one thing, but functionally with these things need to happen. We've also got folks that people in the neighborhood, a very small number, but like to use the right of way and the swales adjacent to their properties and across the road from their properties that for their personal and or their routine parking. They'll park there with their vehicles. They'll have utility trailers. They'll have commercial trailers and those things. And that's an impact on the right of ways and those swales. So again, the policy is there to hopefully we can educate those folks to say, hey, you can't do that. That's having a negative impact on our grasses and those things, and we need to not allow that. And this policy is a step to that. So really, we're wanting to try to reclaim these areas, make them look better, make them look functional, and at the same time too, we realize that there are things that have to happen. We just want to work with them. The builders, we want to work with the homeowners so everybody understands that we're all in this together and we're trying to preserve as much as we possibly can. And with that, I will stop and say if I done miss or leave out.
Well, I'll just add to what Larry's saying, that we're all in the committees are working together, and we are really diligently working to get our swales and our runoff under control. We've changed the type of grasses that are going back. We've got utility people that are now responsible, that they just don't come in and dig something up and walk and drive off and leave it. They're responsible for seeding process, the type of seed that goes in there. We've dictated what they use from now on so that it is drought resistant when we move forward. And when we come in with this new drainage system, we're hydroseeding back on these areas so that we don't live this again. So we're really looking at that very closely.
Thank you. Next new business is the ARC and the board discussions. We established a date, the 24th of this month at 10 a.m. We're going to have a sit down with the ARC and just have discussions with them on their thoughts and our thoughts about Oyster Harbor. Road paving bids. Danny?
Road paving bids, we have 3 extremely reputable contractors. Bid process has started. I have no problem with extending anyone that wants to know who they are, and I think you'd be happy with who they are. Highland Paving Company is a large paving contractor, Barnhill. And then we have, if you look at New Hanover Paving versus Brunswick Paving, those 3 companies are all bringing bids to us right now. They're evaluating the road system, and we should have bids coming in for this. My goal and the board's goal for all of us at Oyster Harbor is that this paving project is finished in year 2024.
We won't be doing all 6.3 miles of road. We're gonna be doing roads that need repaving and maintenance. It's a good portion of Oyster Harbor, but it's not all 6.3 miles of Oyster.
Add to Dan, we're very fortunate that our road system has held up amazingly well for 20 years. Just so you know, Healing Water Drive, Eagle Crest, Redfish, and Oyster Harbor Parkway down to Oyster Bed is the proposed paving areas for now. Fresh phase 1. If you've got a pothole in front of your yard, help us.
All right, next on the new business is a kayak rack storage area. But that's been approved.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. It's
Well, we
it's really
just
not
wanted
new
to
business.
explain- Yeah, and Bill had brought it up in there that we have approved the storage rack
Mhm.
for the old storage lot at this point.
Right, okay.
That's off of Regal, the back storage lot.
The back gate operator system.
Back to me again. We have quotes out. We have 2 more remaining. We have our proposals in. And just to explain what's happening, we're not replacing the back gate. The back gate's perfect. We're replacing the operating system. The operating system has been there for almost 20 years and it's tired. The brain of that system is short circuiting a lot. And a lot of you have called me and said the gate won't open, the gate won't close. We've been very fortunate for the last 90 days and it has done extremely well, but we are looking at the best economic option without cutting any corners so that we can have another 20 years. And we have 1 proposal already in, 2 more coming, and we're just trying to make sure we do the best thing for the community. But it will be repaired and replaced this year.
Okay. We have members and comments, questions. We asked for 3 minutes each, but that can, I guess, get longer if necessary. Anyone who has questions or whatever, would you please come over to the podium so that the people who Zoom can listen to you, can hear you all with the questions and our answers.
Now's your time.
I've been here about a year. And I live down on Clam Bay, but I have a couple of things. One, the boat and RV stores. You know, we had 10 people on there, now there's 5 people on there, and there's still stuff sitting in there taking up space. I mean, you say you have a plan, I hope you do. I mean, it's been sitting there ever since, all that concrete been sitting in there ever since I moved in.
What country are you talking about? That's not taking up any space. That's not in a storage space.
Behind the gates?
That's not a storage space. That is in a void area. So that's not a storage space.
It looks like a space
It's
that's
not.
being used.
Whether it looks like it or not, that is not a marked space. If you'll look on the other side of where that concrete riprap is sitting, number 1 is on the other side of it. It is not in a storage space. So you need to look at that. And it's not
Is it-
usable for storage space.
Is there a plan
Is there a plan for what?
to expand it? So that people like us and everybody else that wants
We
to
just
put a
talked
boat
about-
or an RV.
We just
you
talked about
it,
that.
But what's the plan?
I
Well,
just explained it.
are you talking about the back storage area or the front storage area here? Well, we just talked about that for about
26 spaces. Just
on
explain
the
it.
boats and docks.
How are we gonna expand it? Are we just moving the gates?
It
forward?
will be coming forward to you. There are not gonna be any gates. In part of the conversation, I explained, it will be at risk. There will be no gate in front
Well,
of
I
the
mean,
expansion.
everything's at risk, in here as it
Yeah.
is. I mean, I'm
Exactly.
okay with that.
What? So what
I
the
wanna make
plan
sure I address your
is-
question.
Yeah, the.
What's that?
I wanna make sure I address
You
your
may not know
question.
about the original.
Well,
expansion
I
that
mean,
was
you talk about
like-
expanding, but how are we just taking up spaces, moving everything?
You got that
forward?
drawing?
Yes, I do.
Come here just a second.
The-
Well,
Let
I mean,
me
if-
show you.
If the drawing's posted or if you have it.
No.
No,
I didn't see it.
it's in the board's position right now. The board has approved this
Work in
expansion.
progress, sir.
It's not to the community yet. The boats and docks have submitted this to the
And
board.
that's why I'm asking.
The board has approved it. And this plan will come out of what the expansion's done. We have
That's why
discussed
I'm
it. No,
asking
no
questions.
problem.
I've been here again, almost a year, I
Mhm.
see things. We talked about community watch. Is there starting to be a problem in the surrounding area?
You probably.
I know when I first moved in, they had a bunch of cars broken into, and whatnot, so. Is there a further problem starting to come into the area?
There hasn't been anything as far, like you said, the one evening when I guess the guy, which still is in the court system, hasn't been processed yet, but,
We
we've
just want
only
to be
had-
very
so we've had-
proactive.
Yeah.
Well, and I get that, because I'm gonna bring up a couple of things. I've been over, at the boat ramp. People that don't even live here pop up out of the bushes and, you know, immediately leave when they see somebody over there, but.
We are aware. You're right.
So let me give you an example to answer your question. There's not been any trends. Yes, that occurred about, what was that? About a year ago? About a year ago, there was break-ins in this community. Historically, since then, there's been only minor incidents, very minor incidents. And this will actually, when we talk about community watch with the sheriff's office out here, they'll be able to answer a question if you come to that. But one of the things that the community watch is going to be able to do is to show the statistics of the surrounding area. They talk about trends and things, and that's how they communicate with neighborhood watch, that we can bring back here and say, hey, we're seeing this happen off Seashore, we're seeing this over here. What we're trying to do with that is get ahead of potential problems that you're mentioning.
And I get
Because of that. But we've had recently, even a person in this room, this is that we was, and having seen potential incident with after hours, just after midnight, seeing lights.
And I heard about
So having said that, but we're still at a minimum risk compared to the rest of the community.
Well, because the other thing I'm looking at, wait, hold up, the other thing I'm looking at is I come over here to play pickleball, and there's people playing pickleball that are not even in this community.
Do you know they're not property owners?
Huh?
Do you know
Well,
that
they're like, I don't live here.
there's 471 property owners? They don't have to live here to play pickleball. Just understand it.
They say they're not residents or here.
Yes.
They don't have to be residents.
Well,
They have to be property owners.
so they say they're not
Well,
property,
can I ask, do you live here? Do you?
on property.
If they say no,
then
they could live down Windy Point Road.
They can be
Well,
guests.
I mean, I guess that's one thing, but if you've got a key and you're getting in here
Well,
or a car,
That's a whole different scenario.
So,
yeah,
so let me throw that
All
back to you.
here's what you need to do with that. If you find someone in a pickleball or tennis court area and they say they're not a resident and they've got a card, all you've got to do is make your board representative aware. We can trace every key, every card that's ever been entered and know who they are.
That would be very helpful.
Would be
Exactly.
extremely helpful.
And we could suspend those privileges.
because I've seen it several times, not only pickleball, but over swimming, in the swimming pool also. Pickleball court takes a key. Swimming side takes a card.
No date and time, and just write this up, get with. the
All you
board
gotta do
member
is,
and let us know
all you
what
gotta
it
do is let us know.
Yeah, and a description and an email will work. So,
All right, well, I will start doing that. And the drainage stuff, what exactly are they doing?
what's the question?
The drainage and the swells.
yes,
Because I'm
Every,
concerned about, and I know you addressed this a little bit, but,
a little.
Are
I've been
they-
doing it for a year.
well, that's why I'm asking, what exactly are they doing? Are they putting in PVC? Are they picking
Whenever-
up our yard?
No, sir. Your yard's not our responsibility. The swell in your yard is our responsibility. Okay, so.
I get that.
So what we've done is taken all of the structures that create the control of drainage for this neighborhood, evaluated every structure over the last 6 months, rated those structures for where they were as far as consistency to new. And we're cleaning those structures, including all the riprap that controls the drainage into those areas, and restoring them back to almost new condition. Does that answer your question?
No, I didn't. Are they coming in and are they ripping up all from culvert to culvert, putting in PVC? I mean,
No, they're washing out.
They're
the soil.
cleaning?
that, so all they're gonna do is wash it out?
No,
No,
No.
that's not true.
That's why I'm asking the question. Look, I've done.
I wish you'd have been in here for,
a
I
long
wish
time.
you would have been in here for the last year and you would have answers to your questions. So I encourage you to be here for meetings. And that way I won't recap a year's worth of conversations. But let me answer it for you now. We started this process over a year ago. We are cleaning the drainage structures, which are all the pipes under every road in this community, not just paving, every road in this community. Bear with me. Everything that also has a riprap, which is the control of any runoff through those systems, are also being cleaned and restored to new condition. Okay? Any areas that have already washed in and raised the level of elevation going into these drainage structures are also going to be mitigated, put back to new condition, hydroseeded, and put back to the storm area. Does that answer?
That's what I'm looking for.
You got it. Hey, and don't hesitate to ask me. Sidebar conversations are always welcome.
And as far as that.
Mary.
Trying to keep the
Swales is natural, right?
Hi, Mary.
Right, the swales are gonna be natural.
Yes,
as they
they're not, we're not putting
I know you're not.
piping or anything like that, yeah.
Yes,
And they're gonna keep them out, which means they have to be dug up and whatever, just drain, make them drain well. And I know with I have a swale right next to my house, that runs along the side. And where the drain is that goes into the pond, it's just full of weeds and rocks that have fallen down. And sometimes I'm surprised water can even get through there. So I know what they're going to do, because when we first moved here almost 10 years ago, it was very clean, very nice. And when we had Hurricane Florence, that water just poured down there through the drain, never even got in our yard. So it was a good idea to keep that way to work. Anyway, that isn't what I stood up before.
hey, can I add something to that while you're there? Larry? We're a body of 5 representing 471 owners, okay? So we absolutely rely and count on you guys making us aware of problems. So if there's something in a drainage structure that runs from Four Waters Drive to Palmetto Lake, and there's something wrong and there's weeds and there's growing, that's a grounds issue, it's a storm drainage issue, it's a structures issue. So we need your help. We need you to tell us that those things are happening so we can address them.
You'll have a written complaint tomorrow.
You got it.
No, the reason I got up here was when you were talking about, and this pertains to the swales too, and the parking. It's the construction companies.
That have 5, 6 cars, not parked on the construction area that they're working on, but next door, across the road, down a couple lots.
Yeah.
There's one house over that they're just starting on, for water. And they have the dumpster on somebody else's property.
Oh, gosh.
On the lot. That means, should I call?
No,
Mark
because,
and let them know that?
well,
Or your board member.
Okay.
just
Or the-
notice that.
I'm letting you know.
Send us another email, will you please?
Well,
So-
you have a long email.
Just so you know, that's written right here. It says, during the construction phases, parking adjacent, and across the road and others as well.
I want to.
We have the meeting with the ARC. That's one of the topics that we're gonna be talking about.
Can I assure you guys, everyone that's listening and everyone's here, that we are extremely aware of that? And under construction in this community, it's a difficult problem to manage. But what's different today versus what was happening years in the past, that every contractor that comes to this community to build is responsible to put that in a equal to or better state before they leave. That did not happen in the past. We are really, really focusing on if they damage those swells, they've got to be better than they found them when they leave here. And we are standing on that firmly so that we don't deal with these problems in the future.
That's
But I was gonna
Thank you.
You
That's what
bet.
I want to see. And to pickleball issue. When we first had our pickleball courts done, which has been
what, 6 years now, I think. We could barely get 4 people together to play pickleball. So we started inviting some of us girls who knew other girls who lived down the road and from River's Edge and from Winding River, we all got together. We played at their courts, they came to our courts.
And I get that.
And it all,
But these people have skis and cords and me nothing.
they don't have cards, they do have an access code to get in. Just for pickleball.
Alright, so should I be giving my code out to Domino's or Papa John's or?
If they abuse that code, they are not allowed in anymore. And we know we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna have enough residents here, and we know this is coming. We're gonna have enough residents here that we won't need anyone from the outside,
Well, I think you're at that point now,
okay?
and I think maybe an audit needs to be done, and who has these codes and where are these cards and keys at?
They don't.
I mean, that should go to the
They don't
board for the
have
decision, but I mean, we're there now, in here, 9, 10 months.
Mary, isn't there a gate code that
It's a, yeah.
825 for
It's a gate code, it's not a key. They don't have a key, they don't have a card, they don't have,
and it's only for a specific time?
and it's.
So they're jumping,
So what you're telling me then is they're jumping the fence?
no,
They come in at, I think it starts at 8 o'clock and they can't come in after 10. if I'm not
well, I
mistaken.
think down there played with people that say they don't live here, but they got into the pickleball court. And, you know, in the afternoon, we started playing around 2 o'clock in the afternoon now, just because of the cold weather.
They shouldn't be coming in on, they're not, that access code is stops, I'm pretty sure it's 10, I'm not exactly.
Yes, yeah, he's talking about pickleball, come in to play and do all at the same time. They're not here just because they can separately.
Right.
You guys are actually, okay, so they're a guest.
The point is they're not only coming in to play with.
I got that.
All people in here, they're just playing and they don't live here and
No, I
how
got
they
that.
get in, that's a concern.
If that's the
That should be a
case,
concern for all.
yeah, if that's the case, then-
They're gonna get their names and, no,
or the time and the date like we talked about, so.
That's
Okay.
why this is how we set it up.
And it may not be one and the same people, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Thank you.
Thank
But
you.
that's not an unusual case. We've had the same issue with people fishing too, to access the water park. This is not new. So, but
Jack Hauser.
see you guys. Oh, I'm sorry.
Chat, and of course, I'm all connected, I can't really get over the microphone. A question about, problems with suspicious vehicles trying to get through the front gate by waiting for a homeowner to drive up and let them in. It occurred twice in the past 2 weeks. There have been sketchy people in vehicles waiting at the gate to be let in, so that's presented in the chat as a concern.
And it's a very valid one, and that's part of actually the community watch. Piggybacking is a terrible thing here, and it happens, and they're not just construction people, but there are some suspicious vehicles that's been seen around the neighborhood. If they're suspicious and you don't, first off, you're not supposed to be piggybacking. I don't know how you're gonna fix it. We can't get some down that shoots them or something like that. If they are a contractor and there is a name on the side of their door and they're coming in and piggybacking and doing things the wrong way, if you notify us of who that contractor is or the name on the side of the door, and you want to let us know about that, we'll go to that contractor, and maybe it's a subcontractor. We can start, and we're going to talk to Les about that.
I wanna make a suggestion to that point. And I think all of you will understand exactly where I'm saying. All of us as residents or whoever has access, whether they're out of here or not, could have a code, they could have a fob, or they could actually have an access point. But don't be so impatient as a resident that you push your fob to get someone out of the way because they're sitting at the kiosk trying to call in, because you're inviting that problem. Yeah, I'm just speaking as in generals. Also, don't ever be confrontational with anyone. Don't stop them and ask them if they have rights to come in, but you can handle that problem very easily. when you come up and someone comes up behind you, do not pull away from the kiosk until your gate is open for you. And don't be so much of in a hurry to go through. And if someone stops and starts to tailgate you in, stop. Just stop. And they'll either go around you to the left, but they won't go through the gate. So part of it's about being responsible as residents and owners. And I know we wish we could get it under control 100%. That won't happen. But it's with your help that we can make it better. Does that make sense?
Is it not open? Okay, the problem with the gate is that it is slow, we understand that, and I could drive 2 tractor trailers through.
And I will tell you folks, if you're ever talking to these folks, if there's a sign and it's very small that says Yelp here. In a lot of communities, they pull up to the gate to do that. And in our community, if they go past the kiosk, it doesn't work. They have to stop at the guardhouse going in to do just that, and the gates will open. But if they go to the gate and do that, they're gonna be frustrated. No.
I've got a couple of questions and just sorry. I did note something to Larry, because I'm new here as well. So as a new member, it's kind of interesting to be here. One thing is, and I've communicated this with Larry, and I am now part of the communications committee, so I'll try to help with this. I think there's a disconnect between legacy residents and new residents. There's an assumption that the new residents know the legacy, and I think that maybe we can get better at maybe communicating some of that. So I think that's something, that is a statement, it's not a question. Questions? Sorry if I get the wrong committee name, Ponds Balance. So
I'm curious, because this is just another thing. So we had something dug out. And I'm just curious, how are we gonna prevent Eagle Lake from, what's gonna stop gravity from letting that stuff drag back in?
We put
Curiosity.
a ring of cinder blocks.
Okay.
Around the perimeter of the ranch area. And that should, I mean, over time, it may fill back in, but that should keep it
Delay.
from, the silt shaking back.
Yeah, I thought that was just a curiosity question for me, and I thought maybe other members would. Do that. Safety and communicate, the safety group. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm still learning who all of you are. Is it you as well? Thank you. So I would also communicate that some of us are not retired. So I think a lot of us would love to participate in a lot of things, but I see a lot of things scheduled for weekday during the day times. So if you'd like some of us younger folks to participate in things, I try to encourage things to happen maybe on weekends or maybe with enough notice that we could come to a AED class or CPR class, a first aid class kind of thing.
Very much sensitive to just that.
So happy to be there for that kind of things. And this is a loaded question and you may not have the answer,
That's
so
okay.
happy to respect that you can say, we will table this one. What exactly do you expect from a community watch person? Like, how much time do you want from them? Mr. Homeland Security, if you would like to address it.
So great questions. First part of this, and when we're gonna talk a little bit about this when the sheriff's office comes out and they do the town hall, so I encourage you to come. We're gonna give you sort of a brief overview of how they see this community, because Bill and his group give them sort of a 4-pager that says, here's kind of how we see it operating in here. And this impact unit's gonna come out and kind of give us a little bit of some suggestions tailored to our community itself. But having said that, once there's the interest and we start getting the volunteers in, that's when we develop the specific mission statements and the objectives. So really, we're not looking for a police force, we're looking for just observers. And once we have the people who are saying, yes, I'll be willing to be part of that, to include a couple of block captains if we can. But once we have that, then this group will set aside and establish its mission statement and its roles and responsibilities, and they'll delineate what they are. So, great question. We're not hardly there yet because we're looking to see if we get people interested. If nobody shows up at the town hall.
Yeah, please be there.
Oh, it was a great question. You're gonna be in.
So
Oh,
BJ, to your point too, on the classes on the weekends or whenever we do it, so I've been here 6 years, so when I first got here every board meeting we had was at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock
1 o'clock.
on a Thursday. And at the time, I was working and I was one of the few in here that actually was still working. And I was like, I can never come to these. I never got to go to any board meeting. So that has evolved over the last few years as the community has changed from mostly retired people to, our
To a
folks
broader
now that,
community.
we have a wide variety. So that's how, again, now I think all of our meetings are at night, so people who can work. So that's, our goal is to get a lot of these things for each, each side of the spectrum.
General question out there real quick, and I'll be quiet after that. With time in the evenings or on a Saturday for CPR first aid training, something like that, AED type training, what is the best time in the afternoon after work when you can come? At 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, these are about 3 or 4 hour classes.
You talking about
Keep that in mind.
on the weekend? Or
Saturday, no, well, I mean, through the
No.
week, on the weekend, a Saturday, a reasonable time, 10 o'clock, something like that, maybe after lunch. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
We want to encourage everyone to take participation in things that are being offered because we feel like they're important to the community. And it's up to you guys to tell us what you want. And we're gonna do our best to accommodate it. Believe it or not, we are here for you,
Are you getting up
except
to
for
go to-
you,
Are you getting up to go to the restroom?
except for you. You're done.
You have had your 3 minutes, sir. Go to the restroom. You shouldn't stop here.
I have an easy suggestion. So I've been here 6 years. Eagle Crest and Redfish did not need to be paid 6 years ago, right? So it's all the construction that's been coming in.
Absolutely,
I would ask that, the ARC said there are 29 bills.
yes.
How does that break down by you?
By what?
So, is it, 15 from,
Well,
how does it break down by you? Is the number of construction starting to get off a little bit?
No,
no,
it is
we're
not.
averaging around 30 a year, as I remember back,
All
last couple of years.
From the time the ARC will get a submission and they approve it can trail 2 years.
Agreed.
3 calendar
Mhm.
years. So to say 29, some of that could be 2 years old. Maybe one is even like 3 years old.
The 29 are all proposed projects that are actually active right now.
Yeah, but
That's not,
but what Bill is saying is, just because it's acting now, this could have been planned, they could have bought.
It could be 2022,
Absolutely.
could be 2028.
Well, as you break ground.
Yeah, you can't build a house with. We're on Southern Shore. I
To
would.
your point,
Yeah.
I think.
there's,
we get
there's,
that from the
there's a
ARC.
lot that are building. more.
You can do 12 months.
Was gonna pay the roads. And you still didn't have like 15 a year, let's say.
So
There's
construction-
I will address that for everyone to hear because this is an important thing. We are looking at where we've been and where we're going. And we are evaluating what that means to the impact of the community moving forward, and it's all being discussed.
So that 29 has to be broken down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're very welcome.
Anyone else with any questions, comments?
Thank you all. for
Thank you very
coming.
much for coming tonight. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
So it's
I don't think.
8:40.
We've got a lot. Thank you, guys.